want to know a little backstage gossip?
Go on, let's go for it.
So when we walked in, they didn't catch it, and I think they really wanted to catch it. Michael caught my eye when I was walking in. Michael was like, "Are you okay?" And I just turned to him and went, "Fucking snakes."
So Banksie, how do you feel after last night's elimination? You must be so proud, not only to represent yourself, but the whole of Manchester.
Yeah, great. I feel so good. Literally, I thought I'd feel sad. I thought I'd feel a bit dead. But no, the amount of people, saying I'm robbed, saying that, I just deserve to go. It's just nice to know that people are going to miss me. You know what I mean? I got a bit emotional last night and was just like, I've always been the only person on Team Banksie, and now it seems like the whole world is. And that's the one thing I'm taking away from this experience, is how lovely everyone's been.
For sure. And speaking of robbed, I'm not sure if you've been on Twitter today, but like it's been trending on Twitter all day, and people are actually Drag Race UK, and then your name is literally just the whole hashtag, and everyone's like fuming.
I'm shocked because I've been on this all day, so I've not even had a chance to go on Twitter yet. I'll like crack it out in a bit, but just to be like, yes, true, correct. The fan response has been amazing. The people who have messaged me and just being able to have those conversations with people where I feel that because I tried my very hardest to be as genuine as possible through this series, and I'm so glad the producers made that a priority for my storyline. Was like, oh, here is a non-binary, neurodivergent weirdo who's just flipping about the place and skipping and having a nice time and playing with their fingernails. But that's exactly how I am in real life. And so that realism, I think people really connected with, and I'm really happy about that.
Now, let's cut to the chase. Do you feel like Michelle and Rue should have placed you in the bottom last night? Or do you feel like somebody else should have been in your position?
I feel like the bottom three would have been between me, DeDe, and Vicki, personally. DeDe, obviously, for the critiques that she got. Me, because I was a little bit nervous, and like, that's fine. I think Vicki, she cut out all of her harmonies, not all the harmonies, but some of her harmonies, and like majority of the choreo from rehearsal. And like, I didn't do that. I just kind of went, well, I've got to learn it, because they're not going to get rid of my choreo. I've got to do that. I can't even say what I want to do. And then I could have just said, I don't want to do that move. That would have made me really uncomfortable, but okay. So I think that would have been, for me, it. And I got a critique on the runway that didn't make the edit, where it was like, it's not mirror-y enough. Like for mirror, it doesn't look like a mirror. And I have the same thing, I think, with Vicki's outfit, where I think it was, because it was blue and purple, I don't think it was mirror-y enough. Do you know what I mean?
And they kind of read it as like iridescent.
Yeah, exactly. Which also, mirror, reflective, like, that's what I think it was more. Do you know what I mean?
For sure. Now, let's take things back to when you first walked into that workroom on the first day. People are still obsessing over seeing you walking into that workroom. Now, how did it feel when you turned that corner and you were like, this is it now, I'm literally about to take part on RuPaul's Drag Race?
I think it was really overwhelming. I mean, there was a producer who puts you on, goes, and go. This is your moment, and go. But before I went on, they turned to me and they went, your life's about to change forever. And I was like, and then they were like, go. I was like, okay, this is it. So it was nerve-wracking, it was terrifying. It was really overwhelming, but like, it's what I do every day. If you're not scared, you don't care.
Amazing. Now, you were one of the first few into the workroom. So when you were seeing the queens and the queens keep on coming in, who were you looking at thinking, oh my God, that is competition right there?
Well, the only girl I'd ever seen perform properly in real life was Ginger. And I knew she could sing. I knew that she was like, she'd done like panto after panto, stage show after stage show. She knew what drag was about and knew her body, knew her face, knew her looks. Her hair was always gorgeous. Like, so I walked in, I was like, oh, Ginger's great. I really like you. I think you're really cool. Also, it was really nice to me. And I was like, oh my God, full package. I mean, when Cara walked in, you just see winner, don't you? Like, when Cara walked in and did, bow down to your goddess, I was like, you are literally the most beautiful woman in the world. I can't do that. And I've got a girlfriend, so I shouldn't be saying that. But like, she just was overwhelmingly powerful.
And now, speaking of your girlfriend, let's give a big shout out to Vil. Literally, the performance last week, obviously, there was ups and downs in the challenges. People were literally everywhere. Nobody knew where to look, kind of who to say was the best, who was the worst. However, this message that you put forward on the challenge was so important. And I feel like Twitter, again, last week, everyone was loving this message that you put forward. How important do you feel like it is to kind of put those messages forward on such a global stage?
I think the most important thing is, well, for me, it wasn't even just a message in general about my partner, it was a message for the trans community that, you know, the message I was trying to push the most was, as trans people, you're told you have to be alone and you've got to do the journey alone. We're all different journeys, but you've got to do them by yourself. And I was just trying to provide a different narrative that was, you know, we can do it with someone else. You can be with someone, you can have a community, you can have support. It's not doing it by yourself, baby. You just got to send me a DM. You know what I mean?
Now, let's take things back to next week as well in the terms of Untucked. Now, we had the heated moment where you walked off after Cara and Vicki unfortunately had to throw you under the bus on the main stage. Now,
you dare.
I am just gonna say the lamb to slaughter quote has gone everywhere. Honestly, Banksie, it feels like everything that you've done has gone everywhere, to be completely honest.
The merch is out.
The merch is out. And how did it feel in that moment? Obviously, you removed yourself from the workroom. However, was it a lot more heated in that moment than what we actually got to see?
I think that what I found funny about the edit was that Cara seemed to be getting more of a push from the editors on, like, she was saying the most about the whole thing. But actually, they really did share it. They were both back and forth. And that's why I felt so overwhelmed. I think, you know, it was 2v1. Like, even the base bones of it, it was two people shouting at one person. And that's me with my brain and my bloody neurodivergence. I could not handle it. So I know from experience that I need quiet, I need space, I need to calm down, otherwise I'll just burst into tears. So, and also I've worked so hard on that face. But no, and so literally I just got up and I left and I had a moment and I was able to concentrate and not be angry. They did miss though. They did miss, oh, do you want to know a little backstage gossip?
Go on, let's go for it.
So when we walked in, they didn't catch it. And I think they really wanted to catch it. Michael caught my eye when I was walking in. Michael was like, "Are you okay?" And I just turned to her and went, "Fucking snakes."
Amazing. That would have been
like, oh, sit down.
Amazing. Now, at the start of the competition, you mentioned your close relationship with the one and only Cheddar Gorgeous. Yeah. Did Cheddar kind of give you any hints or tricks or kind of prepare you for the race? Did you speak to her before you headed in?
Well, we weren't allowed to talk to anyone, sadly. The producers specifically told me don't speak to Cheddar, because you know what she's like. But also, it would have given me a bit of an unfair advantage, I think, as well, over other people, to have someone who's been through it. So I spoke to her around airing, and I asked her for her advice, and her biggest advice was to savor it. Like, you know, it doesn't happen. It happens really fast. You've spent 10 times as long waiting for it to come out than you actually have being in the show. So when it actually happens, be grateful, find the goodness, ignore the bad, and just know that 1,000 other people want this and you've got it instead.
For sure. And now, speaking of getting ready for the race, your looks are literally like breathtaking, and that is something that's really been shown through your drag on this season. Would you say that kind of preparing the looks were your favorite part of the preparation process? Because obviously you get that list and you must think, right, it's go time. So what was your favorite part of the process, would you say?
I'm not going to lie to you, it was hard this year to prep, because although no one gets a lot of time, like the timeline is, I can't tell you for how long, but it's not long at all for what you'd think for the amount that you have to bring. And also we had a massive postal strike for like 2 months, something like that. So all the parcels of fabric and things that were supposed to come in, all the rhinestones came 5 days before I was supposed to leave. Like, you know, all these things, these massive hiccups are happening. But the good thing is that all of my outfits were made in Manchester, all my wigs were made in Manchester, all my jewelry was like near to Manchester. And so it was kind of a package Manchester with love, you know what I mean? Everything was by a designer from Manchester. So all I had to do was get a cab to go pick things up and try things on. Well, I know girls whose outfits didn't come because of that postal strike, and they had to make a backup within a day. Do you know what I mean?
Now, this week, you went up against the one and only DeDeLicious in the lip sync. Now, we know Dee as a queen who can do backflips, she death drops, she does everything, whereas you kind of more into a lip sync. Now, when you knew that you're going to be lip syncing against Dee for Susan Boyle, how did it feel in that moment, looking over at Dee and thinking, this is what I'm going to have to do right now?
I didn't underestimate Dee. I think that was the best thing I did, because I could easily have gone, she's a kicker, she's a flipper, she's one of those girls, she can't do emotion, and I would have probably screwed myself up even more. But she knows what she's doing. She's an incredible performer. She's an incredible lip syncer. When it comes to just her mouth, is an incredible lip syncer. And I think for me, I noticed when that song was the choice for that week, I was like, this is all going to be about knowing your words, emoting those words, noticing every breath that she takes and mimicking it. And I was like, I'm just going to stand there. She can move around and be funny. I'm just going to find center stage. I'm going to stand there the entire time, and I'm going to emote directly at RuPaul.
It was
I can dance, but I just don't do it very much.
It was such a close call as well, though. Like every time that the camera turned, you were like, I really, really don't know who's going to take this. And you were such a
track record to help something, but you know, oh well. That should have meant something.
Now, the final question for you, Banksie. What is next for you? What can we expect?
Get ready for the supremacy of Banksie. I'm taking over the world. Drag Race is a door for me, and I can't wait for the stuff that's been planned for it all to come out and you see that I'm going places.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for spending your time with us today. It's been great chatting to you, and I wish you the best of luck with everything in the rest of your amazing time getting used to this season.
Thank you, darling. Lovely to see you.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Kevin Hart.
Hi, my name's Eric Stonestreet.
Hi, I'm Margot. I'm Journey.
I'm James McAvoy.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe.
I'm Rebel Wilson.
I'm Jeremy Clarkson.
I'm going to be translating some Scottish tweets for It's Gone Viral.
On It's Gone Viral.
Ooh, on It's Gone Viral.